Hello YouTube, and if you're here right now, you are here to watch my BFL practice and my tournament. Full disclosure, my tournament went horribly. It was the absolute worst performance I've had in a tournament in a very, very long time. I'm quite embarrassed by it, but I did have a great practice. And my failures in the tournament were many, but it was a learning experience, and hopefully you can learn from my inadequacies and my oversight during the tournament, and hopefully you can learn a little bit from my practice. So without further ado, here we go. Wow, 3 times is the charm. Check that out. Spinnerbait. This is the RS1 spinnerbait, but he threw that 3 times before he popped it. So just had the camera off, but caught number 2, the second one on a wacky rig. It was of no consequence, certainly a small fish. How'd it go for you today?
I actually was on the phone more than I was fishing.
I've had those days myself.
But yeah.
I feel like every time I leave work, the fires start.
Right. And so I didn't get anything today, but I caught 2 nice ones last week.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They were fun. One was a 3-pounder.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks both.
Thank you. Yours too. So day 1 was fairly productive. I did run secondary points. I tried to fish a crankbait quite a bit around Rip Rap, looking for fish that were staging pre-spawn. But what I ended up finding was a lot of bait in the back of the cuts, and along with them, bass. Now most of the bass were not large, but they were biting. So that's always good. Anytime you're in a situation and it's leading up to a tournament where you can find a pattern that's easy to replicate, where you can catch fish regardless of the size, as long as they're keepers, it's not a bad thing. You know, the first priority, of course, in a tournament is getting your first bite, and then the second, and then the third, and of course, getting the 5 fish limit.
I mean, I know it was a small fish, but back to the cut. There's a lot of bluegill up on these flats. The bass are back here. They're somewhere. Under one of these docks, they're somewhere.
So the pattern seemed to be holding regardless of where I was on the lake.
It's not a bad spot. Not bad. It's nice when you make a decent skip and you get rewarded with a little fish. question is, will the big ones move in? Because right now I'm not seeing them.
So day 2 was very warm. I only got a few hours in the morning, but again, the shallow water bite was the deal. Now during this practice, I went through a lull where I was not getting any more bites. I guess it had been an hour before or since my last bite. And I kind of made a decision to pick up the top water, and immediately got bit. Sadly enough, I put that top water rod down and failed to pick it up again during practice or during the tournament. And it may have paid dividends on tournament
talk
day.
about an
but,
audible.
We'll never know.
I mean, small fish, but that was awesome. That was cool. Y'all ever get so darn hungry that your butt starts to eat your underwear? I'm there. I need to eat some. Whew. I think that's about one and a half. I don't know.
I felt pretty comfortable with the pattern I was running, and I felt like Friday I was going to run down south and just kind of poke around down there and see if it was any better than the area I was in.
They don't look like they have a forked tail there. Leads me to believe that they're bass. Oh, that's 100% a bass. Oh. The pattern for sure changed. Got that guy. Wacky rig, baton. I wonder if a Nico rig would be better. I don't know, I think that's like a 2-pound largemouth. I'm gonna weigh it because I guess my eyes aren't ready. So I would have guessed that as a 2-pounder, but I'll take a 2.5-pounder. 5 of those is 12.5 pounds. Definitely not the kind you want to catch in practice. But look at how beautiful he is. She is. Look at all that black on her. She's gorgeous, man. Look at that. Just on a wacky rig baton. That's so cool. She's full of eggs.
Unfortunately for me, the day was sabotaged by a mechanical malfunction in one of my talons. I was stuck in the mud and could not retract my talon and ended up having to remove it. The talon went down and wouldn't come up, so I had to remove it from the bracket. So I did run down south, and you guys may have seen in a previous video that my morning started out with me watching some older gentlemen run across a flat. I'm not sure exactly what happened. if they just hit the mud, the boat lurched or what, but the passenger of that boat got ejected. And after going through a no wake zone and idling out to them, it was clear that the gentleman was struggling to get into the boat, so we just kind of helped them along their way. I fished a little bit longer down south, but ultimately decided that the area I was in was fishing better, so I called it and just re-rigged and got ready for the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a little one.
Yeah. They got something. He's close.
Well, we're gonna fish the whole way out. So we're gonna fish a lot of stuff in here. We'll bounce around. Just saw catfish, so.
Way up there, huh?
So I went into another cove where there had been, oh gosh, I mean dozens of bass swimming around, and it was clearly a ghost town. And that's when I started to really second guess my pattern. This would be one of the last coves that we went in until the end of the day. After this point, I really started to focus on offshore spots, and we went through a dry spell where we just did not have a bite for hours and hours. And when I returned to my pattern around 3 o'clock with a check-in time of 3:30, we came across fish again. Sadly, I missed 2 different fish and then boated a short. So that was my tournament. It was over. And it's crazy to me that I basically abandoned my primary pattern and just failed to make the right adjustments to correct it. You know, it was a bonehead move on my part. So, and an embarrassing one. You know, I'm a local, and you know, I finished 103rd out of 121, which is pretty embarrassing. And you know, Norman has become my Achilles heel, and I have great days on Norman, fairly consistently. But every once in a while, I have terrible days. And today was, or not today, but you know, the tournament was just one of them. If I could go back, I wish I had slowed down in those pockets, and I wish I had picked up that topwater, because Sunday, the day after the tournament, my son and I went out for an hour, and because I had just a gut feeling, I threw some topwater bait, Ronin topwater. It's a walking bait that we make, and I got 3 fish in an hour, and they were not bad. They were pretty good.
Just a few more casts, a few more, not many. Thank you.
If you get this one, can we go home?
Yeah, I guess so, buddy. All right.
I'm gonna name. Ew, there's dead bait on the water.
Oh, sure enough.
I just wonder. It kind of makes me wonder, if I had thrown that in the tournament in those areas, would I have gotten the bites that I needed? I don't know. But there's a lot of things I could have done and should have done in the tournament to to salvage the day, and I just didn't. And I'm paying for it. So it's a gut-wrenching feeling to finish that poorly, but it happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen often, and I definitely don't want it to happen again. So we're gonna have to rally for the tournament on High Rock to get back into the points. Having a finish like this is very hard to recover from, but we're gonna do our best to get there, get back in the points, get back up into the top 40, and hopefully see this through. So till next time, guys, we'll see you out on the water.